Okay,
about that.
we're good now.
We're good?
Yeah.
All right, well, thank you guys for coming. You're here for goal setting and creative journaling, also known as bullet journaling. So it's the new year. Who here has set New Year's resolutions? Anyone? Me? That's awesome. Now, who here thinks of resolutions and completely panics and feels a lot of pressure to get done? Anyone? Here and there? I know it can be a little bit tricky. I'm glad you guys have set some goals that already, anyone want to share some that they've decided for this year? Go for it.
I want to learn at least one song on my bass guitar this year.
That is a great goal. What about anybody else?
So I have a goal of, for the first time in my life, I want to leave the country.
I think that's a very cool goal. All goals are great goals, no matter what they are. Learning a song, leaving the country, even if it's something small as you just want to pause every single day and give yourself a moment of gratitude, and whatever it is, you can do it. So I hope, I'm excited to hear about what you guys got going on. But 2018 is the year with the new skills in bullet journaling, we're going to get these goals done. So, and you can definitely do it. So a little bit about me. I'm actually from Lafayette, Indiana. Went to Harrison High School. I now live in Charlotte, North Carolina. I'm an office manager for a real estate company. And I am an artist. That's my passion. That's what I love to do. I have 3 pet birds, Cleo, Smokey, and Onyx. I work at a parrot rescue on the weekends, and that's like a special thing. And they're my babies. And this is my husband, Paul, and I graduated from IUK, which isn't too far down the road, and living in Charlotte now. But a little bit about me, when I started journaling, I started in high school, and many of you know, you have homework, you have reading, and it's a great way to keep track of everything. And when I started to go to college, I discovered a new love of fitness, and that was really a big passion for me. But as time went on and things got a little bit more stressful, my journaling stopped and my fitness stopped, and I ended up gaining a lot of weight. And that's just what happened. But in 2017, stuff happened in my life, and I realized that I needed to make a change. I picked journaling back up. I picked up fitness again, and I'm now down 35 pounds.
That picture of you,
Far side?
Yeah.
Yep, that was taken October of last year.
the one on the right,
Mhm.
that one was taken at the YMCA. You can tell by the logo.
Absolutely, that was actually taken last week.
Last week?
That was last week. Yeah. A lot of people have been following me. I post my whole journey on Instagram, and you can follow me #GymWalkTalks. When I walk to the gym, I talk about what I'm going through, what my thoughts are, and because of that, I've built a little community of other people who reach out to me and share their stories and tell me, I saw you walking to the gym and it motivated me to go too. So having that community has helped me to achieve my goals, as well as my bullet journals. That's one of my very first fitness journals that I created. So how do we set a goal? So we're just gonna break it down as easy as possible. Sounds like some of you guys are already experts, but the first thing you're gonna do is you're gonna dream big. Only you can set a limit on what you want your goal to be. It can be big, it can be small, it's whatever you want, but to always stay positive. When you think about a goal, always think, I want to do this, or I want to achieve this, not I'm not going to do this. Goals is about growing and moving forward and looking to a new future, and don't set yourself back by putting that negative in there. Next is to be concrete. So let's say you have this big dream, but we need to break it down and decide, what does that actually mean? So, for example, let's say I want to become a rock star. That's my big dream. What does that actually mean? Does that mean I want to sing at coffee shops on Friday? Or does that mean I want to sell a world tour like Taylor Swift? Those are very different goals, and they need to be broken down. So what's somebody's big dream? Anyone want to share what they want to do?
I want to be an actress.
An actress, that sounds great. What about you?
I want to be an artist.
An artist, great, a great one. Anyone else? Yeah.
I kind of want to be a fashion designer.
A fashion designer, that would be really cool. Now, let's think of those goals. Those are big dream lifetime goals. And let's think about what that means in concrete terms. So for me, let's say I'm gonna have my big dream of being a rock star and I wanna be like Taylor Swift, I wanna have a Netflix TV show, and I wanna sell world stadium tours, and I wanna sell 1 million tickets. That's my concrete goal, let's say. The reason why it works is a tip is to make it measurable. So let's dream big. You want to be an actress. What kind of actress do you want to be?
A movie actress.
A movie actress. On the screen, now do you want to do independent films or do you want to do mainstream Hollywood? Feature films, see, there's a little bit of everything that can go into that. You could have said, I just want to be an actress in community theater, and that would be a great goal, but a feature film would be very cool. So it's important, take that big dream and really think about it, how do we want to break it down and what that actually means, and try to make it a measurable goal, very clear and concrete. And the next is to start small. So the first thing we need to do when we have our big dream is to decide, where are we right now? Right now. So right now, I'm here with you guys, and if I want to be a rock star, what's something that I have to do to be a rock star?
Learn how to play instruments.
Learn to play an instrument? Anything else?
Learn how to sing.
To sing? Anything else? How else can I be a rock star like Taylor Swift?
Well, you kind of need to get your popularity out there to actually want people to actually see you.
Absolutely. So, okay, so with all those things in mind, let's do a reality check. Can I play an instrument? I can play Twinkle Twinkle on the piano. I can carry a tune in a bucket, which is good. I mean, we're getting there. And right now I probably have 100 followers on Instagram. So maybe not exactly how far I need to be, but we're gonna take those steps, and you can always take your reality and make it to your future. So we just gotta decide where we are. So we have to think about these questions. What are the steps that I need to take to reach these goals and to be concrete about it? Is it a reachable goal? For example, me saying at this moment, this reality, I'm gonna sell a stadium tour next year. Maybe not, the best timeline. 5 years? Sure, who knows? And the sky is the limit. But then we also need to think about, how do we want to measure our progress and what kind of deadline we want to set up. And that's kind of what we're going to talk about today. So let's say you want to become an actress, maybe a measurable goal would to be get a part in the play at the community theater, and start that way and start measuring your goals from there. And the last one that I think is the most important out of all of them is to visualize. First thing you want to do is, when you think about your goal, I want you to close your eyes and think about and feel what it would be like when you achieve that goal. What's the room going to look like that you're going to be standing in when you win the Olympics? Are you going to be on the podium? Are you going to be wearing your medal? How's it going to make you feel? Are you going to be excited? Are you going to be fulfilled? There's strong, confident. Those are the things I want you to think about. And the most important thing is to write it down. Write a little paragraph saying this is the goal I'm going to do, this is what I'm excited about, this is how it's going to make me feel, and go from there. I want to share with you guys a little bit of something that I did when I was first going through my fitness journey, which was my goal, and this is a little excerpt from the letter that I wrote to myself in my visualization paragraph. It says, "Dear Sophia, thank you for giving yourself your best chance. You are finally making steps forward of living your dream of being lighter, but even more than that, you have the energy and excitement about your life and having confidence to be and to wear whatever you want. From 8 weeks from now, which is where I set my deadline, I want you to no longer feel like a prisoner or to keep watching the girls on BuzzFeed on Instagram and do nothing to change your life. I want you to post your transformation photo with pride and make yourself proud because you're doing this for you." And that's what I wrote to myself. So think like that. It sounds sappy, but this is your life. These are your goals, and you can do it. So just keep that in mind. So let's practice. Let's look at this. So I want you to meet a special friend of mine. His name is Steve. This is Steve. He's here with his pancakes. And Steve, a bathtub of pancakes. And Steve's goal for this year is he wants to live a healthier lifestyle in his current state. So
I want to do that.
if that is your goal, you can do it.
I want to do that.
Well, so Steve has decided his dream goal, and that is to live a healthier lifestyle, but now he needs to be concrete. So what does Steve want? We're going to take that and think, what does a healthier lifestyle mean? So for one, he wants to drink some more water. he wants to get fit, he wants to hang out with his friends more often, and he wants to eat less pancakes.
Well, he could start taking a bath in pizza and ranch dressing.
That's fair. That's absolutely fair. Hey guys, come on in. You're just in time. We're talking to and meeting my friend Steve, who's setting some goals right now. I'll let you guys catch up. You get comfy. Alright. So, this is Steve. Steve is setting some new life goals. Here he is. So we're going to be talking about how Steve can reach his goals of drinking more water, getting fit, hanging out with his friends, and to eat less pancakes. So how can Steve achieve these goals? Okay, so he wants to drink more water. What do we think Steve's reality is right now?
Drinking syrup all 24/7.
Drinking syrup? Anything else? What's Steve's reality? Any ideas? Oh, waffles?
Pancakes.
Pancakes, and waffles, that would work. So he wants to drink more water. His reality that I wrote, he could be drinking syrup, is that Steve currently only drinks soda and no water. That's it. So let's think, how could Steve create a new goal that's reachable and measurable? What ideas do we have?
He could start like only having soda in the dinner time and then drinking water the rest of the day.
That's a great one. Anyone else? Any other ideas?
He should probably stay like off of soda like every week maybe.
Okay, that's good too. So what I put down is measurable and reachable. Steve is going to drink 2 glasses of water each day for a month. The recommended amount is 8 cups of water, but I don't know if you've tried to drink 8 cups of water in
It
one
makes
day.
you use the bathroom a ton.
That, and it's a very, very difficult. So for Steve, we're going to make sure that his goal is reachable. So 2 cups of water each day, and he's decided to do that for a month. And when the month is over, he'll refocus his goals and maybe try to add another cup of water until he hits his goal. Next is he wants to get fit. What do we think Steve's reality is to get fit?
Go to the YMCA and take some classes, do some laps in the pool, and like you can put 2 and 2 together. Hanging out with friends like in a pool, because the pool can really get you fit, and he can also hang out with his friends.
Absolutely. But where do we think, so those are all the goals that he should be completing, but where do you think Steve is right now? Do you
Right
think
now
he goes
he's lazing around watching TV, eating pancakes.
Absolutely. So, Steve has never been to the gym before in his life and has no idea where to start. So we had a couple ideas for what his measurable goal could be. Going to the pool, going to the Y. Any other ideas of how
Going
Steve
to
can
the
get
gym
fit?
every week.
Gym every week? Anyone else?
Gym every day.
That would be a great goal for him, but do we think that going to the gym every single day would fit into Steve's lifestyle at the moment?
Probably not.
Okay, so I tailored it down a little bit because we want to make sure we start small, remember, and his measurable goal, Steve is going to find a workout on YouTube and give it a shot. He's going to start there. He's going to make sure that it's as simple and as clear as possible to get started, and when he feels comfortable to go to the gym, then he can go to the gym, right?
Mm-hmm.
Easy. Everyone's seen YouTube videos. Everyone knows how to work YouTube. Yeah. All right, one more here, and then we'll do a fun one. Steve wants to hang out with his friends. What do we think Steve's reality is?
Texting on his friend. Texting to his friends.
Okay. Anything else?
Probably playing Minecraft with his buddies.
Minecraft, absolutely. Anyone else? Ideas of what Steve is up to on the weekends?
I'm guessing like pancakes.
Pancakes. Yep.
Talk about Mr. Bacon.
So Steve only sees his friends at school and then sits at home on the weekends. That's what he does.
That's
So,
sad.
we have to make sure that, however Steve can, remember, everyone's situation is a little bit different. So we're going to tailor it to the best that we can to make his goals happen. So what are some ideas? Right now he sits at home on the weekends. How else could he reach out to his friends? Any ideas?
They could on Saturday nights they could go to a restaurant like Pizza Hut, and that could also be his once a week thing for soda.
There we go. Adding it all together. Exactly. So Steve, for his goal, Steve is going to reach out to a friend and hang out at least once this month. Maybe we have mom and dad who take us places it's not easy to get around. Maybe Steve can't leave his home because he lives in a bubble. Whatever it is, he's gonna try to make one thing happen at least once this month, right? And what you said, that Steve could invite a friend to do a workout video with him, right? And then the last one, Steve wants to eat less pancakes. Everybody, you can say it all together. What is Steve's reality?
Eating pancakes in a bathtub.
There we go. So Steve is in a bathtub of pancakes and plans on eating them all. So that's Steve's reality. So what's a goal that Steve could go towards about eating less pancakes, but is still positive and moves forward? Ideas? Go for it.
Eat healthy pancakes that,
Yeah, like bran pancakes. That's a great idea.
What else he could do is instead of pancakes, raisin bran.
Raisin bran. I love raisin
Because then he can swim in raisin bran.
Perfect. He'll have so much fiber in his diet. It'll be great. You guys, any ideas of what Steve could do to eat less pancakes? Showering. That's a great one as well. So I put down that Steve this month will only eat one tall stack of pancakes, according to IHOP, that's 3 pancakes, once a week for this month instead of all the pancakes all the time in his bathtub. So we've kind of made goals. Now how do we stay motivated with the goals that we make? What I like to do, and what we'll be talking about today, is bullet journaling or creative calendars. And we can talk about that a little bit more. But you can also create a vision board where you take pictures of all of your goals and put them on a big board. This is great for those of you who are arts and crafty. And you stick it on your wall so you see your goals every single day, and that way you can work towards them. You can also do this in your journal. You can work for a deadline. Some people are really motivated by making that deadline. I'm not one of them, but some of you guys might be and be like, I'm going to do this by Friday, and that's what it takes. You can also talk about it, share your journey, and be excited about it. That's what I do on Instagram. You can plan for a reward. Let's say you have a goal that you are going to read 20 books this month. Let's say you're going to do all 20. At the end of the month, maybe you'll decide that you'll have a movie night with your friends. And it can be that you'll pair whatever book you read that you liked, and maybe there's a movie adaptation, and that's what you'll do, and that will be your reward. Or maybe it's what I like to do. I usually like to go and buy a new dress. That's me personally, but it's whatever you want to do. Or I like to work for stickers. For me, stickers is a great motivator. Yes. Here I have my 5,144 books of stickers, and this motivates me. I put it next to my little goal that I wrote down, and that's sticker.
I just like
Motivates me.
I just like to put 1,000,000 on them all over me.
That would be great. Stickers are awesome. But also, let's say you need a little bit more. Sometimes remembering why you're completing the goal in the first place will help motivate you. So I highly suggest you write it down. Write down why you're doing this. And then you can also build a community, like I do on Instagram. Find other people who, somebody said they wanted to be an artist. Maybe they want to go and join a club where other artists are working and they can share their work and help inspire each other so you can reach that goal. So what happens when your goal isn't necessarily going as planned? That's okay. Sometimes goals don't always happen. Sometimes outlying circumstances get in your way and it's not possible to complete your goal. Maybe you change your mind. Maybe you set one goal and you think, this is what I want it to be, and then you get there and you're like, maybe this isn't what I wanted. Maybe I want to be my rock star self and I decide to learn the piano, but I hate it. And that's okay. Maybe I'll switch to guitar instead. But I want you to really remember when you're setting these goals and you're going through it, maybe it's not working. First thing you're going to do is you're going to take a deep breath and you're going to stop and you're going to relax. So, like I said, deep breath. It's okay to change your mind. It's okay to make mistakes. For me, my fitness goals are really important to me, and you can imagine that I ate all the cookies during Christmas. Absolutely, I did. And
That would be a goal of mine.
to eat all the cookies at Christmas.
Yeah, maybe not. Drink a lot of eggnog mostly.
Eggnog is also delicious, but I had to take time for myself and reflect, like, it's okay, I'm gonna eat the cookies, it's Christmas, it's special, so don't worry if you make mistakes. But I want you to take time for reflection. When things aren't going the way you want it to, use your journal and write down how you're feeling and reflect on, what's my current reality? Maybe you decide that you are going to wake up every single day at 6 a.m. and have a cup of coffee. What happens if you accidentally run out of coffee? What are you gonna do then? That's okay. You can
Sleep
take
in.
you take a deep breath and maybe you drink tea instead. Or lemon with water, whatever that is, it doesn't have to be concrete because you are the only person setting the goals for you. Also, I recommend that you share your struggles with somebody that you trust. That could be your mom, your dad, your best friend, anybody who maybe can be there for you and say, they're there, you can do it, it's okay. And I think it's important that we do talk to each other about our goals so we can always help support each other and build that community. And then I highly recommend that you reread your paragraph that you wrote when you set your goal. I think that's really important. I know, I'll share with you a little bit, when I was going through I'm still going through my fitness journey, there was a period of time where my little sister was getting married, and I wanted to fit into this dress, and it was my big goal, and I had it visualized in my head on exactly what it was gonna be like, and what kind of image I was gonna see in the mirror, and you know, we look on Instagram and all of that, and we all kind of understand that topic, but I had this clear image of what was gonna happen and what it was gonna look like when I got there. And then when I got there, I killed the goal. I nailed it, and it was awesome and it was exciting. But no matter what, I looked in the mirror and I was disappointed because the visualization that I had wasn't reality. Because my body type is different than other women's, than anybody else. And that's good, and I'm proud of what I've done and I'm proud of my journey, but I really had to take time, I had to stop, I had to take a deep breath. I took time to reflect and I wrote in my journal a lot to kind of really reevaluate what went wrong, why I was feeling this way. I shared my struggles with my husband and my mom and my sister, and they had to remind me that I was beautiful in the way that I am made, and to have that self-acceptance, and to remember that everybody is different and special and beautiful no matter what. And that really helped me to stay strong. And I reread my paragraph, and I read that to you. How awesome is it that I'm able, past self, wrote myself a letter to say, you're doing this journey for you and you alone because you want to feel strong and confident. That's why I'm doing it. So it really helped me. And then I had to go back and reevaluate my goals and adjust. Maybe, you know, like I said, maybe my rock star journey, I play the piano and I don't like it. That's okay. We can search other options and we can adjust them. And so what I had to do with my fitness journey, I had to relook at my goals and decide what is something that I can actually achieve, and that's what I've been doing, and it's going better so far. So I want you to remember that whenever these things happen, you need to forgive yourself. Like our little bunny friend says here, you're not a failure, you're still growing, everything is moving towards the future, that's what goals are for, and you don't have to feel bad about that, okay? You're setting your goals for you, and that's it. It's for no one else. But now, we can get to do all the fun stuff. So it's your turn to get started. So I want you to open up your journals. Go ahead, everyone, you have your journal. I want you to write your name on the top of the page. All right. And the first thing I want you to do is I want you to write down 5 things that you are grateful for about yourself, or what's something that you love about yourself. Just 5 things. So I'll give you time to do that. This can be anything whatsoever. It could be that you really like the way your hair looks today. That could be that you are so glad that you're good at math. Maybe you think you're a good listener for your friends when they're having problems or struggling with something. Maybe it could be something that you love doing, that you love to draw, or that you love to read, and that makes you so happy. just a little bit longer, or if you'd like to get started, I want you to write down 3 to 5 big dreams, big goals, big dreams, anything you want to accomplish. That could be this year, this could be your whole life, this could be tomorrow, whatever you want, about 3 to 5 big dreams. Remember, the sky's the limit here, but it can be something as simple as you just want to be nicer to your sibling. How are we doing on our dreaming? Need a little bit more time? I mean, these dreams could be anything. If you really wanted to swim in a sea of pancakes, you could. If you really wanted.
That might be one of them.
All right. So, take your time and wrap up for a second, but can anyone would like to share their big dream? Anyone? You don't have to if you don't want to. I'll share mine first. I actually created my little goal sheet here. So I have a couple of things that I want to achieve, at least for this year. And one of mine is I want to create a YouTube channel. So, and let's see. Oh, and I also want to run the Disney Princess Marathon as my goals for this year. We'll see. It's gonna be awesome. I'm very excited about it. Let's see, and I also want to become an early riser. So that means I want to go up to bed on time and wake up at 5 a.m. and drink my coffee and make so much done in my day. That's my big goal, and it's been going okay so far. It's been going okay, been getting up, but we'll see. Anybody else have big goals? Yeah, go for it.
Learning, designing and sewing my own outfit.
That's a very cool goal. Anyone else? Yeah. Write a graphic novel? That would be so cool. That's awesome. Anyone else? What are their big dreams? Yeah, go for it.
I want to have a monkey.
A pet monkey? Okay, I think that's a great goal. What kind of monkey? Do you know?
Emperor Tamarian.
Okay, I like it. Sounds good. Anyone else have a goal they'd like to share? Not, that's okay. So the next thing I want you to do is you're gonna pick one of the goals that you've written down. It doesn't have to be the one you shared, it can be any goal that you want. I want you to start making a plan for it. So I want you to start small. Let's think about our reality. Where are we in your goal that you want to set, and start making a plan. Remember to make it concrete and measurable. So for me, I want to have a YouTube video posted by the end of February. Just one video at the end of February. So that's what I've started doing. So for this month, my goal at the very end, well, that's my main goal, but for just this month, my starting small is I'm filming all this month so I can make my video. So I want you to take the time and think about that. So go for it, onward bound.
You know what would be a fun goal if you had a cat?
Hmm.
Making a YouTube video and just scaring them to just make people laugh.
Oh,
Because it's-
poor cats.
It's funny.
Oh man.
They just like they like are they'll be all asleep like all curled up and then they'll just look kind of like and then they'll look at you like why would you do that?
Oh, those videos
It's
make me laugh.
hilarious.
It's so sad.
They're hilarious.
One of my favorite things to do, I like to post when I go and visit the birds at the rescue. They love to sing and dance, and I love to post those videos. They're so cute.
That'd be a cute one for a YouTube channel.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see.
Start thinking where you are and how you want to get to the end goal, and that's how you should start. For example, there was a boy this morning who's decided that he wants to read, was it 20 books
Yeah.
this year, which I think is awesome, and
I think I read more like 40 books a year.
well, his goal was just 20, but I challenged him to maybe think of a way to track his goal and to actually measure his goal is to maybe select the titles ahead of time or have a theme to go with the goals. Like he wants to read all books about the Civil War or something like that. So it can be something creative or simple like that. You know, you want to go out of the country, maybe it's that you start researching countries and making a top 5 list of maybe where you want to go or it's whatever you want to do. Maybe for my fellow artists out there, you want to create at least, maybe you do 5 pages of sketching in your sketchbook and 1 finished painting by the end of February. Something like painting or whatever medium you prefer to use. Or if you want to be a writer, maybe to write down some ideas. Yeah.
Like you want to do something, but you're not good at doing it.
Then that means you have to learn. So I hesitate to say that you're not necessarily good at something, maybe you just don't know as much as you need to know about it, and maybe you need to practice. So let's say you want to be a gymnast, but you don't know how to become a gymnast, maybe it's time to start taking lessons or learn to cartwheel and explore. You never know what you might not
So
be or
funny.
be good at.
I mean, I'm not super good at
Picasso probably started in a coloring book, just like we did when we were little. You never know. Not to mention, he drew paintings where everyone's faces were messed up.
My paintings are around the school.
I think somebody is not giving herself enough credit. So I highly suggest maybe setting a sketching goal for yourself because practice is what makes perfect with art. And you'll always keep learning and you'll never be perfect at it.
Where did Jen go?
I bet they're wonderful,
They
aren't
are.
they? So don't worry. It's 4:52. All right, so
Maybe instead of drawing, you could discover other types of art forms. So maybe you take a sculpting class.
I do like to
Or-
draw like random lines and then it all turns it out being something else. Or I like to I'll draw something and I'll just make it into a puzzle.
that's amazing. That's all art. So trust, like, think about those ideas, but how many of us have an idea of a measurable goal that they have? You have an idea of what that is? Yeah.
Chris, one of my issues has always been like not drinking enough water.
Yeah,
And,
absolutely.
like, reading how to do that, and one of the like first steps I've seen is like purchasing like a fun like water bottle and like make it.
Yes. That's perfect. So maybe this month you research the perfect water bottle read. That's actually a great idea.
One of my
Well, mine-
teachers has one that like fruit in this thing and like infused with flavors and some water or something.
Perfect. I like to call that spa water. because it's fancy water. No, that's awesome. I know a girl who her goal was to drink a gallon of water every day, and she decorated she got a milk jug and decorated it, and she wrote lines on there by time, so she had to finish by a certain time, like that one section of water. So there's a lot of things that you can do with that.
Yeah, another thing, like, it's just things like this. The lady downstairs, Jimmy Anderson, she has this huge water bottle.
Awesome.
And I was like, honestly, that would be perfect. Just like go through it in a day.
Absolutely. There you go. I think that's awesome. Anyone else want to share their measurable and attainable goal?
Well, it's more like a story about like drinking water. Well, my mom did it with my brother because she wanted us both to drink water. She got us both some water bottles,
Okay.
and then if we drink all the water, we got like a chocolate.
There we
Like
go.
a chocolate.
Except for I need to like lock my chocolate up so I don't eat it all.
I find for me, having sweet goals does not align with my fitness goals, so instead I planned, I love to go to the movies, and I like to go to the movies by myself, so that way no one talks during it, and I can just have my own. I
That
know,
sounds really creepy.
No.
Jimmy would do that.
no, I like to go to the movies by myself, and that's usually what I treat myself with, I
like
go
you
to the
better.
movies. So, hey guys, welcome.
I bet
So,
you do, Jimmy.
I promise it's not that word, but having the reward at the end is really great. You can actually write in your reward into your steps that you wanna drink water by the end of the day, then you get a reward at the end. Yeah, I think that's an awesome goal. Anyone else wanna share their goals of what they're gonna do? Yeah, go for it.
One of my smaller goals is because I ride horses, I wanna ride more because I haven't ridden in a while because I've been super busy.
Yes,
So I said let's ride at least once every 2 weeks at least.
I think that's a very attainable goal, and making time in your schedule to do that. That's awesome. I think that's great. I would love to ride a horse someday.
I want black. I don't like red.
Okay, so
Yeah.
our friend Jimmy is one of Tony shit for
I don't like
everything.
red. He actually likes
See, that's not a positive goal.
Well, it helps Jimmy for this.
Maybe Jimmy instead should think about being kind to that person or those people whenever they hurt his feelings.
Jimmy also likes picking strangers up from school, so.
Just kill him with kindness, but don't worry about it, you guys are silly. But anyone else want to share their measurable and attainable goal? Do you have one? You don't have to, it's totally okay. Anyone? No? Oh, go for it.
I want to get fit for my volleyball trials this year.
That's awesome, perfect. So do you have a plan of how you're gonna do it?
Yeah.
All right.
During the summer, I'm gonna wake up early at 6 o'clock and run and exercise till 7, and then I'm gonna drink and eat healthy.
That is awesome. That's a super awesome goal, and I know you can do it. That seems very reasonable. I think you guys can do it. But now that you have a little bit of your concrete goal planned, I want you to take a moment and write 3 to 5 sentences about your visualization. Think about when you achieve that goal, that volleyball tryout, and you make the team, or however you want it to be. I want you to take the time to think about what that's going to feel like, how it's going to make you feel, all of that. I want you to write your paragraph to yourself, so that way when you read it back later, when you've achieved your goal, you can be like, yeah, past self, I did this for you. So I'm going to give you guys a minute to do that.
Sometimes I visualize myself more with the drawing.
Then that's okay. But think about how you're going to feel when you finish that drawing or a painting
Yeah.
or a finished dress.
Yeah.
And you get to wear it and
Yeah.
visualize where you're going to wear it to. Yeah? School, and everyone's going to tell you how pretty it is. You get to
Yeah.
tell them about it. Just whatever you want it to do.
So is it okay if I draw my goal, draw my visualization?
Absolutely, you can, whatever you want to do. It's however you want to express yourself.
She's prepared. She has art supplies.
No, this is my binder for school.
Oh. That kind of was what I was like at IUK though. Yeah.
But I never got the rolling backpack.
I had that.
You had the rolling backpack. I never did. I couldn't do it. I
My
was like,
teachers won't, most of my teachers won't even let backpacks in the classroom, so I have to carry this around.
I had the backpack, but Eric made me switch after surgery, so.
That's different.
Yeah. That's
How are
some,
we doing back there with our visualizations of goals? How's our paragraph coming? I know you guys just got here, so what we're doing is we're gonna pick a goal out and we're gonna decide how we're gonna make a plan on how to reach that goal. And right now we're writing a little paragraph about how awesome it's gonna feel when you reach the goal. So, however you wanna do it. Keep in mind that these journals are for you. You don't have to share it with anybody. You can write whatever you want. This is just for you in your space.
yeah, that's the kids. You
Are
can
we
hear the
still
kids
certain that
playing.
they're gonna fall through?
I don't think they haven't fell through yet. So
Yeah, I know, but
I feel like that's a good sign.
they're still working the floor down. Oh gosh, I'm gonna be up there soon. If that like happens, I don't wanna write an incident report.
It's like it
The
would be
floor
really
crashed
hard.
to
That
I'll
the
was
make
side.
Kate
bad.
do it, because I know she hates doing it.
But then my brother learned his lesson not to stop. Fall through the floor.
It's not to meet with Kathy. She's not in ever.
You know what would be a really awesome goal? Sleeping in all day, like staying in your bed.
I don't know. Anytime I'm sick and I'm stuck staying in my bed all day, I never wanna be in my bed. I don't know if anyone else is like that.
I'm like,
Yeah, but it's
on the weekends I want to stay in my bed, but my mom always makes me do chores. And I'm like, but it's the weekend.
Alright, so how are we doing with our paragraphs? Have we wrapped it up a little bit, or do we need a little bit more time? We have time, so if you need time, just say so. We good? Yes? Nodding of heads when we're done? Nope, keep going, you're good. I'll give you, we have time, you're all right.
So do I have to keep on nodding my head until they're finished?
No, no. I just wanna make sure everyone has enough time. Alright, as we're wrapping up, would anyone like to share a little bit of their paragraph? You don't have to share it, but if you'd like to, we'd love to hear about how awesome it's gonna feel when you've reached your goal. Anyone? No? Oh, yeah, go for it.
I was thinking like it'll be like how it was in the beginning, because in the beginning I was riding every week and I was volunteering at work shelters. So I was the one that forced it, so it'll feel like that.
Alright, that sounds awesome. Anyone else? Comfortable sharing their goals? No, that's okay. Alright, well that's okay, so let's move on to the fun part, which is the journals that we're gonna be making. So a calendar or a bullet journal is simply a calendar or note-taking system that's meant to allow you to personalize organization and productivity. Basically, that means this is your way of taking notes and making sure you're making the most out of your time and don't miss any deadlines. That's all it is. So there's lots of different styles, as you can see up here, and we're gonna talk a little bit about them. So bullet journaling for beginners. The only things you need to create your first calendar or bullet journal is a notebook and a pen. That's it. Currently in your hands, you have notebook. You have pen, yes? We all have these things? Perfect, then we're good. So next we need to think about what is the goal for your journal. In this case, we're hoping to keep track of our goals. So It can be that, and those things can change. Maybe you want to keep track of what appointments you have or your homework, or maybe you just want to have a mood journal. It just depends on what you want to do. But also think about maybe where you need more organization in your life. Maybe your studying isn't going so well. Oh, go ahead.
Okay, so I like am on Pinterest like those things.
Absolutely.
It's like the best.
Mm-hmm.
So I came across bullet journaling on there like last November.
Yes.
So that was kind of my New Year's resolution, was just like bullet journaling.
Yeah.
So I did like I found like a mood tracker thing, and it's it's like the grid, and then each day you
Yeah.
have like a color for what mood, and I've been doing that.
That's awesome. Has it been helpful?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's great. I actually have an example that I really like that I think you might enjoy of another system where they keep track of their moods. But I mean, bullet journaling can be whatever you need it to be. And maybe you might find that you're already doing it, maybe just not in this notebook, but in another way. But the systems that you actually create, a calendar, like an actual physical calendar, is a type of system. Your mood tracker, like the grid, is a type of system. Maybe the way you set up your to-do lists, that's a system. So that's all it is. Systems are constantly going to evolve depending on what you need it for. Maybe this month you're really focused on drinking more water, but maybe next month you're more worried about how many vegetables you eat, and your trackers are gonna look different based on just that alone. But I highly tell you, don't be afraid to make mistakes in your journal. There's kind of some of you may or may not know, but there's kind of a code amongst artists that you should never open and look at an artist's sketchbook unless they give you permission, because that's the place where they make mistakes and have, where they develop their ideas. So that's the way you should treat this journal. This is your space to do whatever you want with it, however you want to write, whatever it is. You don't have to show it to anybody, so don't be afraid to make those mistakes and try new things. And with systems, you can have a yearly type of calendar, monthly, weekly, daily, by semester, by quarter, by class. It's whatever you want it to be. Maybe by volleyball season, or
second.
if you really wanted to, there'd be a lot of little dots. But it's whatever you want it to be. And the best part about it is you get to be as creative as you want to be. So finding inspiration on Pinterest, a great place to start. Instagram is also great. So when you do find those spreads that you're like, oh, this inspires me, save it. Take a screenshot of it so that way when it's time for you to actually build your plan, you're not reinventing the wheel. So my personal journaling, I use this calendar, which is it's called a happy planner. Oh dear. It's called a happy planner, and the reason why I like it is because I am a grown-up and I need a yearly calendar, and that's already set up for me. So it has a big calendar spread, it has a weekly spread, but what I like about it is I get to add my own pages and I can also take them out and put them back in. So this is what works for me. There are different types of calendars out there. There's the traditional bullet journals that has little dots. I actually have some dot paper for you back there. What you have works perfectly, composition notebooks, or maybe some people like to use a sketchbook because they don't want any lines.
That's what I was doing.
Yeah, you can use whatever you want. I use this to keep dates in all my trackers, and I actually use a watercolor notebook, and I actually do my journaling and all my notes and stuff in here because I think it's a little bit easier to have them separate. So it just depends on what you want to do. My favorite writing utensil are Sharpie pens. I also really like Crayola markers, are really fun to add decorations, and just a regular plain black pen is also something I like to use. But for my goals, I calendar monthly and weekly, and monthly goals including fitness trackers and other miscellaneous stuff is what I really focus on. I'll show you an example. So like January this month, I made a little page, and I am actually training for a half marathon, so that's something that I'm working towards. So I have my little calendar here where I keep track of my training schedule, but I also want to lift weights at least once a week. I want to do, I don't know if you guys have been keeping up with the whole KonMari method of tidying your house where everyone says, pick it up, does it spark joy? No, maybe not, that's okay. Basically, I want to clean my room. That's basically what it is. So I'm keeping track of cleaning my room, and this month I'm drinking no soda. So that's what I like to keep track of. But I also do traditional journaling, so I love to write. I think it helps me to express myself. But I also like to do scrapbooking spreads. So I'll print out pictures and write little journal entries about what I'm doing through the month. So like this was New Year's, and then we went to go get hamburgers, and then we had a big family party, and that's what I like to do. And then I write a lot of to-do lists, lots and lots of to-do lists. So it can be as simple as that, but you can use whatever supplies you want, sticky notes, washi tape. I use a glue stick, photos. I like to take my ticket stubs and put them in my planner. Like this whole thing is just my pens and markers. And that's,
play with that. I don't know how you just play with that 24/7.
well, I mean, I set time aside for myself to actually do my planning. We can talk about that, but that's what I do. And then I think I forgot to mention, so on this far side here, that's the very first tracker I ever made. And it was on just a regular Post-it note. That was what it was. I had what I wanted at the top. I wanted to work out 3 times a week for 3 weeks. I wrote the dates that I was gonna do it in and left myself little boxes to check it off every time I made it. And my goal, like my reward at the end, was I was gonna get a new outfit, and I wrote myself a word of encouragement. So this doesn't have to be complicated. It can be as simple as you want it to be, so something to keep in mind. But now you guys have your journals. So the first thing I'd recommend, these are just pro tips, is sometimes starting with a pencil is a little bit easier so you can plan out how you want your grids to be set up. I think that's really helpful. Keep it really simple at the beginning. Don't get too elaborate. Maybe, planning by second would be a little bit difficult.
I know.
But maybe by like day might be a good way to start. This is supposed to make your life easier and make you more productive, so don't overthink it. Finding inspiration, like on Pinterest, is a great way to not have to reinvent the wheel. So when you find another spread, you can use it that way. Trying out new spreads, and remember not to be afraid of mistakes. Sometimes you're gonna make like a tracker and it's just not gonna work, and that's fine. And don't plan too far in advance. The whole point is to actually go month by month and start planning things out, and it keeps it fun. So some system ideas for you to create. You can do yearly planning or semester planning, whether that's calendar spreads or trackers or maybe a vision board or goals. You can do monthly trackers for dates, maybe a healthy lifestyle tracker, maybe books you want to read or Netflix shows you want to watch. Weekly is great for homework and school to-do lists, maybe a schedule, a timetable. Maybe you want to keep track of making your bed, a chore tracker might be helpful, and maybe some meal planning. There were some ladies this morning who wanted a meal plan. And then daily is for daily notes, maybe your scrapbook pages are great. And then these are just some styles of journals that you create. You can make them as artsy as you want or as simple as you want. I mean, those ones on the far side, she has a picture of a moon, but then she has just a small calendar. Well, this one I think is a to-do list, and it's just on black and white. That's it, rolled paper. But then these people up here did beautiful paintings for autumn to set up their seasonal calendar. And this one, I mean, she went all out with the picture of the dog and all the doodling that she's doing. So some ideas for you guys are in school, some things you might want to consider organizing is maybe organize your calendar by semester, or quarter, whatever you have going on, I'm not exactly sure. But also making a master syllabus spread. I don't know if your teachers do this, but sometimes at the beginning of the year, they'll give you a piece of paper so you'll be able to see everything that you're going to do that semester, homework, whatever. That'll definitely be around when you get to college. But sometimes it's helpful to take all of those plans and write in all the dates so you know exactly what's coming up so nothing surprises you. You can build a timetable to help you schedule your week. Maybe you need time to study, or you have volleyball games or football games or practice. You can do a class outline to keep track of your grades and homework and your reading. A sleep tracker is really helpful. If you find that, maybe your days aren't going super well, maybe make sure that you're getting enough sleep. Self-care and gratitude is a great thing to do. Maybe add a little section so you can write something for self-care. And then a project or a study planner. So that way, like Monday I'm gonna study this, Tuesday I'm gonna study that, things like that. So here are some examples. This is a master syllabus. So this person has it separated by month, and then it goes out on the sides of what projects you do that day. And she has it here that depending on the color of her pen is what the assignment is for, what class it's for. We have a sleep tracker. This one's really cool. It's a sleep compass, and she colors in the little sections to decide, to mark how much she's been sleeping, so she should have it all colored in by the end of the month. A weekly schedule. So this is an example of a timetable, so you can kind of see what your days are actually gonna look like. I find a lot of people who are trying to become more productive, this is something that really works for them. an assignment tracker in case you're trying to keep track of your assignments. Maybe you have I know like this probably would have been helpful when in school we were reading, I think it was maybe A Tale of Two Cities, and it's pretty long. Maybe that would have been helpful to like break up my chapters and make sure I was crossing them off as I went. Here's an example of a study planner, and this is a to-do list. This is actually my to-do list that I use for my office. So I have a T-chart. One side is a to-do list that's immediate to-dos. The other side is future stuff, like things that I don't have to do that day. And then I'm the office manager for my office, so then I also put down here when I notice that certain supplies are running low, I put that at the bottom. But if you need help with to-do lists, you just let me know. But there are tons of things that you can track. Birthdays, this one's books that you've read, so I think it's pretty cool. These are the books they want to read, and then they made a bookshelf so they can write in the titles that they actually read. This one's the mood tracker. It's not showing up very well, but it's for April, and it's actually an umbrella. So they color in each parts of the umbrella. There's a chore list, a birthday one, a bucket list. It's whatever you want to keep track of. But now it is your turn. So now we're going to try to set the tracker for your guys' goals that you just made, right? So I want you to keep some things in mind to make sure you have your goals broken down into reachable mini goals. So that way you have little boxes to fill in so you can track your progress. Think about how you do want to measure it. So for me, I like to do my things by days or amounts of time. So like I want to go to the gym 3 times a week, I'll make 3 boxes to check in. Or for cups of water, maybe you make a little like a little droplet of water for every cup of water that you drink. So think about that and like what you want your tracker to look like. So the sky's the limit on that. You can be as creative as you want to be. And here's some inspiration for you. These are some of my favorite YouTubers that do bullet journaling. Caitlin's Corner, she does great stuff for students if you're looking for homework planners, study planners. I think it's really, really helpful. Amanda Rachel Lee, she does really cool, trendy trackers, and her artwork is really beautiful and very cool. Jenny Journals, she does a scrapbooking style of her notebook, so she posts lots of pictures and journals about them, and they're really cool and beautiful, but she also runs her own business, so she does have business trackers for that. And then one of my personal favorites is Christine Mylin. She makes beautiful artwork, and in her planners she actually writes narrative stories to go along with her planners, and her videos are just beautiful. But these are just a couple of the hundreds of bullet journals out there. Go.
So, something that I found was Little Coffee Frogs. There's a website I found on Pinterest.
Yes, I've heard of this one. Yeah, there's tons, and there are so many styles just depending on what you want to look for. So like, that's a great one, good choice. But it's whatever you want to do. But now it's time to have fun. So I invite you to come back around the corner with me. There is paper and washi tape and anything you could ever want so we can start making our trackers. So I think Rachel has some supplies for you. So if you want to meet her back there, maybe grab your chair if you need it, and let's get started. Does anyone have any questions? Nope? All right, well let's get started and I'll help you guys work on your trackers.